everyone, Catweazle here. Welcome back to the Arkham Horror playthroughs. This is going to be the second scenario, entitled Curse of the Dark Pharaoh. And what we've got to do is, as in all these scenarios, is we've just got to prepare the decks and everything in order to get the best thematic experience we can. Hopefully this will be a bit quicker than last time. I won't have to show you the board or anything like that. And as mentioned in the coup scenario, it's quite straightforward what we do to the decks and everything, just to make sure that we get a proper Dark Pharaoh experience. Right, the first thing is I'll just go through some of the new cards and stuff that we'll be bumping into. First of all, as part of the Curse of the Dark Pharaoh expansion, we do get additional location cards for Arkham. So Hibbs Roadhouse and Police Station and everything. And similar to the ones in the base game, they're all colour coded. So what I'll do, I'll shuffle all those in before the gate starts, but it's just to show you the amount of extra cards that you do get when you buy one of these expansions. So you do get a fair amount of Arkham location cards in with it. So that's the first deck that will be added to the normal base game location cards. Additionally, we also get additional gate cards. Oh, a thing to notice on all these, you get a little symbol on the bottom. So you've got a little Eye of Horus there. So that just tells you, should you want to separate these out at a later date, these are the Curse of the Dark Pharaoh cards. Here are all the gate cards that come with the Curse of the Dark Pharaoh, the extra ones. But what we've got to do for this particular scenario is, you remember these dual coloured ones? If you remember in coup, we had this Plateau of Leng one where we had to fight Ithaca. Well, all these dual ones in this particular scenario are taken out. We don't use them. So they go back to the box. But all the other ones, they'll be added and shuffled in with the normal gate deck that you saw last time. Right, also, the Chuckle deck. We also get additional cards for Curse of the Dark Pharaoh for this expansion as well. These will go in as well. All the Mythos cards here, they've all got something that's to do with the Dark Pharaoh. So they'll all go in, they'll all get shuffled in. And similar to last time, we do have to take a few out for the sake of the scenario. I've took them all out already. It's just Things of Darkness, The Terrible Experiment, Stars Are Right, Relay Rising, things like that. As I mentioned in coup, a lot of these are to do with like Innsmouth and Kingsport and the Dunwich Horror. So that's why they're taken out. It's just purely for theme. So those have already been taken out. The ones that we need to take out. He says chucking the Chuckle deck everywhere. Another thing that we do as regards this particular scenario is we do take 2 gates out, and the gates we take out are one Plateau of Leng. If you remember, that's a sort of Ithaca base gate anyway, so we take one of those out, and we take a gate for Rely out as well. That's more of a Cthulhu based base gate. In fact, you can just see him there, can't you? Look at him. So those 2 gates are taken out. It just increases the chances of getting a more thematic gate to do with this particular scenario. So those go back to the box, but all the other gates are included. So we'll just give these a quick shuffle. And cut them and give them another little shuffle. Get in there, a few there, one last cut. We'll put those over there, and similar to last time, we'll just put a little Doom token on the top of that stack, so we know when we pull the first one to put that on the doom track of the Great Old One. Who is the Great Old One? Well, the Great Old One for this particular scenario is a chap called Nyarlathotep. 1,000 Masks. Basically, this is an old one that goes around. He spends a lot of his time, actually, hence his 1,000 Masks epithet there. He takes a lot of his time going around as other things. He's a master of disguise, so he'll go around as a dark man, for example, or a pharaoh, or things like that. He spends his time fooling mankind. He doesn't particularly go around like eating them in Lovecraft stories. He just tends to be a real pain in the arse, to be honest. But he's a nasty piece of work anyway. I think he's meant to be a son of Azathoth, who's not a very nice guy. But anyway, all that aside, and my poor grasp of Lovecraft, what we've got to know about Nyarlathotep is his worshippers, so the cultists again, they will all have the endless ability. What that means is you can't take them as monster trophies. So as soon as you kill one, it just goes straight back into the monster bag. At the start of the game, we add mass monsters to the cup. Mass monsters are a special kind of monster. I've already put them in the bag, but for example, the Dark Pharaoh's one, and the sort of like the sort of facets of Nyarlathotep's of his being. So you get the Black Man, you get the Dark Pharaoh, you get the Bloated Woman, you get the Haunter of the Dark. They're all sort of facets of this particular ancient one. So they've all gone in the monster bag, so we can pull those out. And you can have more than one in play at once. Hopefully we won't get one, because they're not nice at all. Start of a battle. If we start the battle with him, if he comes out, if he wakes up, one, we're probably dead anyway, but we certainly need clue tokens if we're to stand any chance. Again, I won't go through the final battle thing, we'll do that should the worst come to the worst. Anyway, that's Nyarlathotep. Similar to last time, monster limit will be 7, because we'll have 4 investigators. 4 are allowed in the outskirts, so that's exactly the same as last time, because we're using the same amount of investigators. Other deck preparation that we had to do, as far as spells go, we had to take some spells out. So very similar to last time, things like the Red Sign of Shudmel, Mists of Relay, and the Dread Curse of Azathoth. We're not using those, but we also get to add some. We're adding one from the if I can get them here off the board. We're adding one from the Dunwich Horror, which is Summon Shantak. Again, this is like very Egyptian-y sort of themed, so that one goes in. I'll shuffle that in later. And we also get the spells that come with the actual Curse of the Dark Pharaoh itself. So there's a lot of spells here that are again very Egyptian or Middle Eastern, like Plague of Locusts, stuff like that. So all these will also get shuffled into the deck. So we have a few more spells this time, and hopefully we'll get when we pick our investigators, we'll get a couple of spellcasters who've got high sanity, so we'll be able to see a bit more spell casting this time. Also similar to last time, we'll be using the personal stories again, depending on which investigators we get, and we'll also be using the relationship cards. We didn't really use those last time, mainly because most of them were to do with spells, and we didn't get many spells, and I certainly didn't cast many. Though I think I missed out. I think I should have got Rita one. I think her and Charlie had a relationship card where they should both draw a spell if one of them gets one. But I think it was towards the end of the game and I forgot. So, but never mind. What else have we got? yes, we've got the ones that come with this particular expansion. These there with the Eye of Horus on them and the Ankh. These are like unique items. They're the exhibit items. So the Egyptian exhibition has come to Arkham and it's got various exhibits. And we get a chance, the investigators can pick these up. So, but these are separate, and I'll show you what happens with those. The way that you get them is you need to have special encounters, and this is the special encounter deck to do that. And you have to move and encounter the exhibit marker, and I'll show you how that happens. As you can see, they've all got like a small encounter with each, and again we'll shuffle these up, and those will be ready to use during the game. And another thing we've got are benefit and detriment cards. You may get asked to pull these out. The red ones are bad ones, like you're wanted by the police, or you've been tainted, or you're being harried by monsters, things like that. But you also get the benefit ones where you can have visions, be anointed, become psychic, that sort of thing. So these are specific to Curse of the Black Pharaoh as well, and hopefully a few of those will come into play. Right, there are no special scenario rules about those, but there are some special scenario rules about the allies. If you remember last time, we had 11 allies. You always have 11 allies, you can't have any more. And with the Curse of the Black Pharaoh, the Dark Pharaoh, sorry, you do get some extra allies, as well as, you remember Anna from last time. So there are 11 here, which are the Arkham Horror ones. There's 3 here, which are Curse of the Dark Pharaoh, and another 4 that are Curse of the Dark Pharaoh. And the reasons I've got these 4 separate, which are Eric, Weiss, Erica Carlisle, Dr. Alec 4, and the Messenger, is as far as this scenario goes, we have to have those 4. So these 4 are definitely in our ally deck. The other 14, what we'll do is we shall pick 7 from here. So it doesn't really matter. Those are the 4 that we definitely need, that I've just put to one side there. And we need another 7 out of that deck. But first of all, before we actually pick the 7, we'll just see if we pick an investigator that's already got an ally with them. So I have shuffled those, so when it comes to pick, because we might have to take a specialist ally out depending on which investigator we get. Right, I think that's all the cards. Oh, sorry, no it isn't. Unique items. We've got a couple of unique items. One comes from the Kingdom Yellow, which is the illuminated manuscript, so I've dug that out. Again, this is optional, but as I've got the card, I've got the expansion, I've dug it out, so that'll be shuffled into the unique item deck, as will Staff of the Pharaoh, which is a lurker, a lurker at the threshold, unique item. Again, it's a pharaonic staff, so just for theme, we're gonna stick that into the unique item deck as well. That's in there. And we've got one card from Miskatonic, which is a skill card, which is Egyptologist. And we're going to put that in as well. Again, just for theme. So we'll shuffle that in to the skill deck. Right, I think that is all the cards that we've done. And now what we've got to do is we've got to pick our explorers. As far as the scenario goes, there is one explorer that we have to use, and that is Ursula Downs. She's got 5 sanity, 5 stamina. She's an explorer, hence we're sort of putting her into this particular scenario. As you can see, she's got some stuff going on behind her in some ancient ruin. So home is player choice, so I can pick where on the board to put her, so I'll have a think about that when the time comes. Fixed possession, she has $1. but she also has 4 clue tokens, which is very strong. A random possessions, she'll have 2 common items, 2 unique items and 1 skill. As for a special ability, she's quick-witted. Ursula may have an encounter at a location even after using a location ability that would normally be taken instead. So that's so for example, if she went into the curiosity shop and bought a unique item, she could also have the actual normal location event as well. She's an adventurer. Arkham encounter. After reading her Arkham encounter, but before making any die rolls, Ursula may spend 1 clue token to cancel the encounter entirely. Very good. Very good. Right, and focus. You've seen these. We'll do these when we actually get to the upkeep phase of the first turn. We'll set those up. Let's read a story. The story so far. Not many people can say they've climbed a mountain on every continent that has one. Fewer still can say they've stolen a golden idol from a tribe of cannibals. Among women in a male-dominated society, Ursula is probably unique in being able to make these sorts of claims. Ever since she was a small girl, Ursula had broken rules set down for her, climbing trees, playing in the mud, exploring the woods, and plenty of other things that a proper young lady shouldn't have been doing. After all, she was as good as any man. When she was accepted to Boston University, she set out to prove it, excelling and exceeding the other students in archaeology. She graduated top of her class and used her inheritance to set herself up as an explorer, roaming all over the world and writing articles for magazines. Now her path has brought her here to Arkham, following a shipment of stolen relics, a cult that seems to have members in the very corner of the world. I think that should be every corner of the world, and a trail of corpses. Smiling to herself, Ursula thinks, now this is an adventure. I like Ursula already, and I probably think it's actually no coincidence that she has a slight look of a certain Angelina Jolie about her. A certain Tomb Raider? Or is it just me? Anyway, that's Ursula. She is one of our investigators, as stated by the scenario. So we'll put her over at the player area. But we still have to pick 3 others. What we've got is there are several that we can't use. As mentioned last time, they're more like they're either Innsmouth or the Dunwich Horror or Kingsport. But I've took 2 more out as well. The other 2 I've took out are Agnes Baker and Luke Robinson. And the only reason I've took those out, it's not specified in this particular scenario, but those 2 are required for later scenarios. And because I'm going to have to use them in later scenarios, I thought I may as well take them out. It'll just give us an opportunity to see more investigators this way. Right, so we've got a stack there of 31. We've got 31 investigators, and we need 3 out of that 31. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a D20. Just keep going round. So let's give them a quick shuffle anyway, as far as they can be shuffled. As you can see, there's plenty to choose from. Right, let's put that there. Can we see them? No, we can't. Let's move that out there, that out there, that out there, that up there. There we go. Right, let's have a roll. Right, that's 12. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right, 12th one is Kate Winthrop, the scientist. I'll read through her in a second. And after that, we get 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6. Tommy Muldoon, the rookie cop. And the last one, 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Back to the original one. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, and Hank Sampson, the farmhand. Right, so take these other ones, put them over there. Won't be needing them this game. Right, who was first week? Kate, wasn't it? Right, so let's have a look at Kate, the scientist. 6 sanity and 4 stamina. 6 sanity is good. Could be our spellcaster. Her home's in the science building. Her fixed possessions are $7 and 2 clue tokens. And random possessions, 1 common item, 1 unique item, 2 spells and 1 skill. So she does start with 2 spells anyway. A focus is only 1 though. Science, her special ability. Gates and monsters cannot appear in Gates' location due to her flux stabilizer. Sounds like something out Back to the Future. Monsters and Gates do not disappear if she enters their location, however, and monsters can move into her location as usual. Right, so if there isn't a gate, and there's, like say she's in a particular location and a mythos card says a gate to appear there, it won't. However, if the gate's already there, she can't sort of dispel it. So that's what that means. Oh, and when she, with the 2 clue tokens, because she starts at the science building, which is a unstable location, we don't put a clue there. So essentially the second clue that she's got is the clue that was there. So that's what that means. Let's read her bio. A brilliant researcher, but a shy, lonely person, Kate Winthrop has been working at the Miskatonic Science Labs for 4 years now, and her supervisor still doesn't know her name. That doesn't matter to her though, as she's been working to complete a private quest for most of that time. Almost 3 years ago she watched as a device malfunctioned and Professor Young, her longtime mentor and friend, was torn apart by an indistinct creature that shrieked and gibbered before vanishing into the night. Since then she has delved into darker studies, hoping to find something that would allow her to find and defeat that creature along with others of its kind. Tonight her research has finally paid off, allowing her to create a device that can defeat the alien beings she has detected in Arkham. Cool. Right, so that's Kate. Then it was Tommy, wasn't it, we got? Right, Tommy. 6 sanity, 4 stamina. Again, whereas last time we were high on the stamina, this time we're high on the sanity. So his home is the police station, surprisingly enough. It's fixed possessions, $2, 2 clue tokens, 2 common items. These are stated, so I'll have to dig out the map of Arkham and a rifle. Random possessions are 2 common items, 1 unique item and 1 skill. His special ability is Hero, Mythos. Before a Mythos card is drawn, Tommy may cause 1 or more monsters that are adjacent to his location to move to his location, regardless of their normal movement. And on the force, Tommy may not be arrested. In addition, it only costs him 1 gate trophy or 5 toughness worth of monsters trophies to become Deputy of Arkham. Cool. Right, his bio. Tommy Muldoon wasn't sure what was going on in this crazy city. He'd no sooner graduated from the police academy in Boston than he'd been loaned out to the Arkham Sheriff's Department. That wouldn't have been so bad, except some of the stuff going on in Arkham was right out of a bad horror novel. Weird creatures in the woods, people found turned inside out, and worse. Still, Tommy had sworn to protect and serve, and he would do his best to live up to those vows, no matter what. Besides, he had his trusty rifle, Becky. What could go wrong? Standing in front of the police station, Tommy feels a shiver run down his back at the thought. Okay, Tommy, he mutters to himself. Time to be a hero. Good lad. That's a sort of like the sort of attitude we want, Tommy. Next up, Hank Sampson, the farmhand. 5 sanity and 6 stamina. Oh, that's unusual. You know, I thought every single one of the investigators, I thought it added up to 10. But good old Hank, he adds up to 11. He goes up to 11. He's in Spinal Tap. Right, his home is the general store. Fixed possessions, $3, 1 clue token and 1 common item, which is food that I'll have to dig out. Random possessions, 2 common items, 1 unique item and 1 skill. His focus is 2. His special ability, thick skulled. Any phase, Hank does not make a horror check when he first encounters a monster. Instead, he only makes a horror check if he fails a combat or evade check against a monster. That's cool. That is really cool, because there are some really horrific monsters out there, and if we can send him out, then he can just like wade in and hopefully pass his combat. So if we get him tooled up with some decent weapons, what's his fight like? Oh, his fight's up at 5 as well. Yes, Hank, liking it. Right, let's have a read. As he was growing up on his parents' farm, it soon became obvious that Hank was more of a doer than a thinker. He wasn't stupid exactly. He just didn't spend a lot of time thinking things through before he did them. A lot of the time, this tended to get him into trouble. Then again, sometimes it came in handy, like it had last month when he heard the cows panicking. Picking up his shotgun, Hank rushed outside only to see some kind of giant buzzard thing attacking the cattle. Now, some might have questioned their own sanity at the sight, while others might have fainted away in sheer horror. But Hank, he just took aim and blew the darn thing's head off. It only occurred to him later to wonder just what it had been. When Pa saw the corpse, he told Hank they were going to take it to a professor he knew at Miskatonic University. So they crated it up and drove to the nearest train station and hopped a train to Arkham. Only things haven't gone so well since then. First the crate vanished off the train, and then Pa went missing when he went to complain about the missing crate. As Hank grows tired of waiting at the general store where his Pa told them to meet up if they got separated, he wonders if he might not have to start doing a little thinking after all. Right, oh Hank, don't worry, we're going to sort it all out. Right, so those are our 4 investigators. What I'll quickly do now is, I'll just mention, the Curse of the Dark Pharaoh does have a herald that you can use, and the herald is actually the Dark Pharaoh himself. We're not going to use the herald in this scenario. The reason being, as I mentioned at the end of the last set of episodes, these are more introductory type scenarios. We don't get introduced to the herald mechanic until funnily enough, the next scenario, the King in Yellow. So this is a Curse of the Dark Pharaoh where we won't actually be using a herald. But those of you who enjoy heralds, when we do the King in Yellow, that will have the King in Yellow herald. Right, what I'm going to do now is just shuffle all the... That's what we need to do. I put them aside, didn't I? The allies. So we've got 4 allies that we have to use, and then we have to pick 7 more. Nobody else out of those 4 investigators we picked had a specific ally. So we'll just pick 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That makes it up to 11. Let's see who we've got. So we already knew about Eric Weiss, Erica Carlisle, Dr. Ali Kafour, the Messenger, and we've got Professor Armitage. Perhaps he's the professor that Hank's father wanted to visit. Thomas F. Malone, Ruby Standish, and it's Richard Upton Pickman again, posing without his shirt on. Ryan Dean, we had him last time as well. Well, we had we had all these last time. Sarah Danforth. So we did pick out one of the Curse of the Dark Pharaoh allies. And Tom Mountain Murphy. Right, so those are our allies. The rest can go back to the box. And what I'll do now is I'll just shuffle everything in. I'll dig out the relationship cards. Oh, we can do the relationship cards. Right. Sort out who's going first and whatnot. So let's Right, so our first player is Tommy Muldoon. He's up first, followed by Ursula Downs, followed by Kate, and then Hank is our final investigator. So let's give these a good shuffle. The relationship cards. So first up is Ursula's relationship with Tommy. Members of the book club. Anytime either you or your partner attempts to use a tome, other than as a result of this card, the other may immediately attempt to use the same tome, even if it has been exhausted or discarded. So that's Tommy and Ursula. Kate and Ursula is The World Ain't Big Enough for Us. If you or your partner is in an otherworld location, either of you may exhaust this card before making a check to gain +1 on that check. If the Ancient One has awakened, this card may not be used. Right, so that's Kate and Ursula. Hank and Kate. Survivors. Either you or your partner may exhaust this card before making an evade check to gain +1 to the check. Good, good. And Hank and Tommy, their relationship is socially connected. After the initial setup, anytime either you or your partner gains an ally from any game effect other than this card, the other draws an ally at random from the ally deck. If he currently has no allies, he keeps it. If he does have one or more allies, he keeps it and then chooses one of his allies to reshuffle back into the ally deck. Okay. Right, there we go. So those can go back in the box. I'll dig out the personal stories and everything now while I sort out all the cards and everything, and I'll be back with you shortly. Okay, first up we've got Tommy. What I've done is dug out his stand, which goes to the police station. So I'll go and put that on the board. He starts at the police station. I've pulled out his 2 clues, his $2, his 4 stamina and his 6 sanity. I've also pulled out, as per his fixed possessions, he's got a rifle, which is +5 to combat checks. Very useful, so put that down here where we put the weapons. So that's in there. And he also gets the map of Arkham, which I'll put over here where I put all the speedy type stuff. So those 2 are in. In addition to those, you get some random possessions. So I've shuffled all these in where I've got other components, but I'll give him an extra shuffle before I pull out. So if I don't like throw everything everywhere while I'm doing my rubbish shuffling. There we go. I hate shuffling these small cards. Not good at shuffling as it is. Right. So we've cut them. So he gets an additional 2 common items, which will be a Derringer. He's already got a rifle, so he might have to hand that off to somebody. And a .38 revolver. So he's just bristling with weaponry. Those two he'll probably end up handing off. So what else has he got? He's got one unique item. So we'll do the same with those. Give him a quick shuffle. And then a cut. And see what unique item he gets. And he gets holy water. Could be useful. Fortunately, it's just a use and discard item. So I think that's everything for him. Oh no, he's got a skill. Let's go and grab him a skill. Whoop. Right. And his skill is +1 fight. When you spend a clue token to add to any fight check, you may add 1 bonus die. Right, so that's Tommy. He's got his holy water, he's got a 38 revolver, a derringer, +1 fight, a Mac of Arkham and a rifle. So he's pretty tooled up on the fighting front. His personal story, which I dug out, is, let's have a read. Tommy had a bad feeling down in his bones about this assignment. Something told him there was going to be trouble, bad trouble, and he just might not get to walk away from it in the end. Right. So his personal story is: we need a hero. Pass. If Tommy is devoured, place giving his all in play. Bloody hell. Right. So basically, to pass his personal story, he's got to get devoured. We'll try and leave that till the end, if at all. Fail. If the terror level reaches 5, place where were you in play. So I think here, I don't want him to get devoured. I think here we'll just do our best to stop the terror level reaching 5. I don't think we need like any craziness, Tommy. Calm down, lad, calm down. Right, so that's Tommy's personal story. Right, put that over here. Right, okay, let's move across to our next investigator, which will be Ursula Downs. Right, here we are with Ursula. She's got 5 sanity, 5 stamina, $1, 4 clue tokens. Looks amazing like Angelina Jolie, and we can pick where she goes on the board. But I'm just going to delay that until I put everybody on the board, and then I'm going to have a think about it. Right, she didn't get any fixed possessions other than the $1 and the 4 clue tokens. So she needs 2 common items. Oh, here we go again. Common items deck. Give it another quick shuffle. Try not to turn all the cards over like I'm doing. Right, and a quick cut. And the 2 common items are research materials, discard research materials instead of spending 1 clue token, and a motorbike. Always good to get a motorbike, +2 movement. Excellent. Right, so those are 2 common items. She also gets 2 unique items. Right, and the 2 unique items are a healing stone. This is excellent. We saw this last time, the last scenario, but we had to pass up on it because we got an elder sign. This is excellent. So healing stone, doubtless found during one of her previous expeditions, and a lamp of Al-Hazred. We didn't see this last time because it was actually taken out. It was one of the items we took out for the scenario, but it's allowed in this scenario, and it's +5 to combat checks. So that is an excellent magical weapon. So we've done well there. And she also gets 1 skill. Here we are with the skill deck. cut. And she gets +1 luck. Nah. But she's got +1 luck. That's her skill. Okay, so that's everything for Ursula. Right, next up will be Kate Winthrop. In fact, it won't be quite be Kate Winthrop, because we forgot about the personal story. So let's have a look. Ursula crouched in the shadows, watching yet another truck unload itself at the docks. She knew that she was closing in on the mission shipment of relics. She just needed a few more leads to crack this caper open. Soon she'd be able to recover the artefacts and get out of this town, once and for all. Bahaha. Right, so in order to pass, Ursula has at least 3 monster trophies and 3 clue tokens. Place scratch 1 mystery and play. To fail, she goes insane or the terror level reaches 3. Place this is no fun in play. Oh, the terror level going to 3? Ugh. That's a bit grim. Could have done with Charlie Kane on this one. Right, okay, so that's her personal story and what she has to do to pass it. And next up is Kate Winthrop. Right, here we are with Kate. She's got 6 sanity, 4 stamina. Fixed possession, she's got $7 and 2 clue tokens, but one of those is from where she starts in the science building. So we'll go and put her standee on the science building. So that's that done. And next is a random possessions. So she gets 1 common item. It's a bit stingy. So she gets the old journal. Exhaust and spend 1 movement point to make a law -1 check. If you pass, gain 3 clue tokens and discard old journal. If you fail, nothing happens. Ooh, good one. So a chance of getting 3 clue tokens there. And a law's quite good as well. So, very good. Right, so that's a common item. She could have done with a weapon, but hopefully she'll be able to get something from Tommy, who's got more weapons than the police station, armoury. She get a unique item. She does. She gets 1 unique item. She gets the silver key. Put 1 stamina token from the bank on the silver key before making an evade check to automatically pass it. Discard silver key after using it if there are 3 stamina tokens on it. Oh right, so this is a guaranteed evade. You get 3 guaranteed evades before you have to chuck it back in the box. Excellent. Could come in very useful. Right. And she gets a skill. And she gets marksman. Exhaust to re-roll a combat check. Very good. And she gets 2 spells. Oh, here's the spell deck. A bit thicker than the other ones. Right. The deck. And the 2 spells are Shriveling. We saw this last time, I think. Casting modifier -1, sanity cost 1. Casting exhaust to gain +6 to combat checks. Very good. Put that there. And the second spell is Shroud of Shadow. Casting modifier -2, sanity cost 1. Cast an exhaust to reduce the toughness of every monster you combat during this turn by 1, down to a minimum of 1. Excellent, and it is a Curse of the Black Pharaoh spell. So, nice thematic spell. That's the 2 spells. Let's have a look at her personal story then. Kate Winthrop. If only she could find a way to increase the resonance of her flux stabilizer, Kate was certain that her device would begin to heal the damage being caused by the gates. But in order to do that, she'd need samples of matter brought back from beyond several of the gates. So she's got to go trotting off-world by the sound of it. Right, to pass. If Kate has 2 or more gate trophies, place It's Working in play. Fail. The Doom track has 6 or more Doom tokens on it. Place This Is No Good in play. Right, so we've got to get her through some gates. Get her sealing and closing them. Get some gate tokens. Excellent. Right, let's put that over there. So, personal story. Okay. Right, I don't think I've forgotten anything with Kate. Right, so next up is Hank. Here we are with Hank. He's got 5 sanity and 6 stamina. He goes right up to 11. He's also got a clue token as a fixed possession, $3, and he gets food as a fixed possession as well, which I've already dug out. I'll put that over there. And Hank, he's waiting for his pa at the general store, so I'll put him over there at the general store. And let's see what his other possessions are. He gets 2 other common items, random ones. So he gets a lucky cigarette case, which we saw last time. Skid's got that. And 45 automatic. Woo! He's tooled up on the weapon front. Always nice. Right, what else does he have? 1 unique item. Perhaps it fell off the giant buzzard he shot the head off. Let's see what it is. An ancient tablet. Movement. Spend 3 movement points and discard ancient tablet to roll 2 dice. For every success rolled, draw 1 spell. For every failure rolled, gain 2 clue tokens. Oh, that's good. So if he failed both rolls, he'd get 4 clue tokens. If he passes them, he'll get 2 spells. Or combination. Cool. Not bad at all. And he gets the usual skill. So let's have a look. What Hank gets. +1 sneak. Very good. Right. So that's Hank sorted out. Let's have a quick look at his personal story. Put those card decks away. We can read his personal story. Hank was alone in a strange city. Pa was missing. Well, that was okay. He'd just go back to the train station and look for Pa. If Pa wasn't there, well, he'd worry about that later. Right, so Hank Sampson, where's Pa? Pass. Hank may spend 5 clue tokens. Blimey, that's a bit steep. While at the train station during the upkeep phase to place There's Pa in play. Fail. If Hank fails a horror check, place The Boy Who Learned Fear in play. Right. So 5 clue tokens. He's only got 1. But yeah, let's go for it. Can't have him losing his Pa. Right. Okay. So that's what Hank's got to do in order to pass. Right, put 1 sneak in there. There we go. It's 45 automatics down here. And here's lucky cigarette case up there. Right, so that's Hank done. Okie doke, that's everybody sorted out with all their items. We'll just have a quick look at the board. And I'll explain one of the Curse of the Dark Pharaoh mechanics. Here we are, the lovely city of Arkham. Right, one of the mechanics I have to explain is the Ancient Whispers marker, and this is it. What this is it represents rumours and reports about items from the Legacy of the Pharaohs exhibit that's appearing throughout Arkham. The marker will move through all the street areas. So it won't go into locations, but it will go into all the square street areas. And when the investigators encounter it, they'll draw an exhibit encounter card, which I mentioned briefly before. It starts at the Miskatonic University streets, so it'll start there. And then, I think, these are the cards I mentioned previously. These are the encounter cards. So when an investigator lands on a street area that's got that Ancient Whispers token, they'll pull one of these. And it gives them opportunity to gain one of these special items that are related to the exhibit. So start here in the university streets, and then depending on encounters, it gets moved around. If it doesn't get moved around by encounters, I don't know if you can make out, there's a little crescent shape there. So if it doesn't get moved about by an actual encounter, it will get moved as a crescent monster and follow that. But if it does get moved by an encounter and then a crescent comes up in the mythos phase, it won't move. It's just if it hasn't moved previously due to an encounter that it'll move as a crescent. Right, so I'll put that back in the Miskatonic University streets. And that's about it. Apart from a little bit of flavour text. And then we'll pull the first mythos card. An excerpt from the Arkham Advertiser. After several delays, the Legacy of the Pharaohs exhibit at the Arkham Museum of History opened to the public last Tuesday to a large crowd. The exhibit features some of the oldest and most mysterious artefacts to be unearthed in Egypt and is on display for the first time outside of Cairo. The museum had scheduled the public debut of these items 3 weeks ago, but a series of strange troubles threatened to put the exhibit off indefinitely. Museum curator Dr. Anthony Milior commented, "We've had nearly a dozen employees unable to work due to illness or family tragedies. One of our docents stopped coming to work with no explanation at all. It is rumoured that some of the artefacts intended for the display have gone missing, but Dr. Milior vehemently denies this." So, ooh, there's things going on with the exhibit. Right. So that's where we're up to. And first things first. I have shuffled in the Dark Pharaoh mythos cards, but I'll give them another shuffle on camera. Whee! Badly, as is my way. Right, okay, so there we go, to the first mythos card of the first gate of the second scenario is a gate at the witch house. So we lose the clue there. And we pick a gate. So there's the gate with the Doom token on top. So Niall Arthurtep gets his first Doom token. He's on 1. Let's give these a little shuffle again. Right, and the first one, it's our first gate at the witch house. Put that down there. Another Doom token on top of the stack. Right, and let's read the rest of the card. Oh, monster, monster, monster. Don't forget the monster. Right, remember we've got nasty mass monsters and stuff in here now. And our first monster is a Shan, which is a bit of a horror. I think you can get devoured. Yes, you fail a horror check, it devours you. Brilliant. Right, so that kicks off. And flying monster, and it's at the witch house. Woohoo! Not the best start. Right, what's next? What's next is clue token. a clue appears at the Black Cave. So the Black Cave's now got 2 clue tokens. And monster movement. Got slashes, triangles, stars and hexagons. And he's a triangle. Goes up. There's nobody in French Hill Streets, so he ends up in the sky. So straight off into the sky, straight away. And Noden's Favour, Environment Mystic. It costs 2 fewer clue tokens to seal gates. Woohoo! We could do with this one staying up for a while. So it only costs us 3 clue tokens to seal a gate. That is excellent. So what we could do with not getting an environment card for a bit. So stand that up. Put that over there. There we go. Right, and that's the Mythos card done. Oh, I've got to put Angelina Jolie on the board, haven't I? She can pick where she goes. So, I'm tempted to go to the Black Cave now, but I should have put her down before 2 clue tokens went on there. So I won't do that. Where will I put her? She got Outworth. She hasn't got a weapon. Well, she has. She's got the Lamp of Hazard, hasn't she? So I shall put her. Oh, where to put her? I shall put her at. I'll put her at the police station. Oh no, hang on. On a personal story, it mentioned the docks, didn't it? Yeah, it mentioned the docks. I'm going to put her at the river docks, just for theme's sake. It did mention in a personal story that she was looking at crates, so I'll put her at the river docks. Really, like if I was playing the game for anything but chuckles, I'd be like putting her at the Black Cave or next to one of the other investigators to do some trading. But sorry, personal story. It said she was looking at crates at the docks, so she's going to the river docks. Right. Thanks very much. I think this has been pretty overlong again. I'll see if I can do some edits when I put it up to YouTube so it's not quite as long. So here we are, Curse of the Black Pharaoh, ready to get going. It'll be a couple of days before I load up the first turn because I am going down to the smoke. So I won't be here for a couple of days, but I'll try and put up turn 1 at weekend. So thanks very much for watching. Thanks very much for the subscriptions, for the comments, for the views, and I'll see you in a few days. Toodaloo.